Hey guys, it's Shannon from iHeartRadio Canada, joined by T. Thomason. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, it's good to see you. It's not in person, but I mean, this is the best we can get, right?
I know. Yeah, this is it.
Happy belated birthday. When was your birthday?
Yeah, it was September 29th. So thank you. I spent the day in a Nordic spa, which is great.
That sounds like the best birthday that you can have. What do you
Yeah.
think at a Nordic spa? Is that where it has like all the pools and things?
Yeah.
That's
The
cool.
like hot, cold saunas. Like this one was right by a lake. There was a bunch of hammocks like along the lake. And yeah, it was.
That sounds amazing. So you're refreshed. You're just like ready to take on your next year of life.
Yes, absolutely.
Let's see. Are you in Nova Scotia right now?
I am. Yeah. I kind of, when in about May, I was like, okay, like I'm gonna go home. Yeah,
That's
it
a good way
felt
to be. Did you have to self-isolate then in May when you got?
yeah. So I came home and my parents' friends have this little bunker on a hill that just it has like this beautiful view of the valley in Nova Scotia, and I was there for 2 weeks, so it was actually kind of nice, weirdly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds like that's the best place to be, to like have to self quarantine for 2 weeks. What did you do while you were there? Just like relax,
Um,
made a vacation out of it?
Yeah, I kind of did. It was so isolated, and the property it was on was so big that I could go for little walks, which was really nice. I did a lot of writing. I watched like all of season one of Westworld. Yeah, it was good. I did a lot of cooking. My parents would drop off groceries for me. So yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, that's so nice. I am a huge fan of Nova Scotia. I try and go as much as I can. It's just so beautiful there. And there's something so unique I find about the artists that come out of Nova Scotia. There's so many big names that we see, like Ria Mae, Classified, like
Mhm.
so many. What do you think it is about Nova Scotia that just like pumps out so much talent?
Oh man. I think it's a combo of a lot of people are coming from rural areas that are beautiful, so they're inspiring, but also they're rural and there's nothing to do. So, you serve yourself well if you can pick up a hobby, and a lot of people do pick up music. So I think that's, a big part of it. And I mean, I think there's so many, especially in Cape Breton, there's a lot of Scottish and Irish, background up there, and music is such a big part of those cultures and every culture. But I think a lot of people, it's like normal for them to get together with their families and like all play fiddle music and all play guitar and that kind of thing. So I feel like it's just like bred into people from a young age.
Yeah, was it bred into you from a young age?
Yeah, it was. And although my family's not originally from Nova Scotia, so my dad's British and my mom is from Calgary, and they met in the UK and then came here to visit some friends and decided to stay. And I think that it was bred into me. It would have been bred into me no matter where I was, but I think we were really lucky that I grew up in rural Nova Scotia, and it was sort of like, this is the thing to do. I also moved a lot, so I was the new kid a lot. And, when you're kind of like awkward and, trying to make friends, but maybe not super succeeding, you can go home and play guitar just by yourself. So,
That's a good
yeah.
way to be. Do you find that moving around a lot like helped you now when it comes to like meeting people in the industry and all of that?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm like pretty used to kind of splitting my social life, So when I played music from a super young age, so I was playing in high school and going on tour and that. So I would have my high school friends, but I would also have older music friends, and my life would be kind of split up in that way. And I feel like it is kind of like that when you're like traveling and touring and whatever. You have friends in different cities and different social groups and stuff. I feel like it helped me there for sure.
Well, it's cool. It's like Hannah Montana, like the music life,
Yeah,
school life.
best of both worlds.
Yeah, exactly. I want to talk a little bit about your relationship with Ria Mae. How did you two originally get connected? Was it just from both being Nova Scotians?
Yeah, that's a good question. We have pictures of us like at shows from years ago that I barely even remember being taken because I'm just so young in the pictures. But I remember us like really connecting when she had moved to Toronto and she was doing really well, and the pop stuff had just really started to take off for her. And I remember I was in Toronto, and I don't know how we linked up that time, but I think we've just been friends on Facebook forever because of Nova Scotia or whatever. And she invited me over to her place, and we just hung out and chatted, and I played her some demos, and I was just really struck by how generous she was with her time. Like, and she really made me feel like we were old friends, even though I was like, well, I was so young whenever we would see each other that it was all kind of like hazy. But then since then, it's just, she's so consistently been so supportive and so generous, and it's just really developed into a lovely friendship that I treasure. So yeah.
That's so nice. How did the idea come up to be on Loser Part 2?
Well, I played her Loser years ago, like when we first were starting to work on it, and she was so positive about the song and just loved it, and, you know, would text me and just be like, I'm listening to it again. And so when I thought of this Part 2 project and I wanted to have people come on the songs, I was like, well, I have to have Ria on that song. If I ask anyone else, like, she's going to be pissed. So yeah.
That's true. You are the king of clubs, it seems like. That's
thanks.
awesome. It was cool to see Ivan Coyote be on a track, because I love the book Gender Failure. So to see their name, I was like, oh, this is so cool. And it makes so much sense too. How was that for you?
Oh, it was so cool. And that actually came about through Ria, because Ria was asking me, you know, what's coming next in the Part 2 project. And I was like, I don't know. Like, this was in the middle of quarantine, and you know, I had planned the first 2 singles with Rose Cousins and with Ria before quarantine hit. And then like COVID came, and I was just like, oh my God, you know, there's supposed to be 2 more singles. And it was just a lot of things were up in the air. We were talking, and she was like, well, unrelated. She was like just telling me how she'd been having FaceTime drinks with Ivan through quarantine. And I was like, oh my God, I love them. Like, I love Gender Failure. It was such an important book, and something just clicked, and she was like, wait a minute, like, you guys that should be the next Part 2. It should be Birdsong with Ivan. And I was like, whoa. So she made it happen, and it was just awesome. It meant a lot to me. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it fits so well with the song and Ivan's storytelling. It like gave me goosebumps the first time I heard it. It's such
thanks.
It's a good concept. I like it a lot. You released your album a year ago.
Yeah.
And you just celebrated 1 year of having it out. How does it feel now, 1 year later?
It's kind of surreal. It's such a different world than I ever imagined, you know, celebrating that milestone in. And it's changed how I've been able to tour the record, obviously, and get it in front of different people. Like, that's just not happening in the traditional way. But I'm super proud of this Part 2 project. Like, I feel it's so nice to see it all kind of wrapped up in a little bow almost, and just see these collaborators that were willing to come on board and do these songs. Like, that record took 5 years to make, and I used all of my university savings that my parents had put aside for me to make that album. And so I'm really, really pleased with where it's ended up, and it feels really good.
Yeah, you should be, especially because your next collab coming is Sarah McLachlan. What the heck? That is insane. How does that feel? How did that come together? Tell me everything.
Oh my gosh. It feels surreal, but really exciting. I'm really stoked for it to come out and everybody to hear it. It's been in the works for a while. Like, Sarah was one of my mentors on the launch, as you know, and we connected at that point. And after it aired, like the next day after the episode aired, I got this text from a random number. And it was like, hey T, like, it's Sarah M, your mentor. Just heard like Hope on the radio, and I just wanted to say I'm so proud of you. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, wait, how did you get my number? And also, like, I now have your number. So anyway, in November, I sent her a text, and I was like, hey, I'm doing this thing, and I have no idea if you'd be interested, but I thought of you for Bliss, and I just wondered if you'd want to do a duet version with me. And she wrote back and was like, yeah, I'd love to. And so it's really been in the works for a long time. I was supposed to go to Vancouver on my Cross Canada tour in April and go into the studio with her, and obviously that didn't happen, but we were still able to make it work at a distance and sending files back and forth, and it was a really interesting process to kind of do it at a distance like that. It was the first time I'd done a collaboration really like that way. So it was a lot of fun.
That's crazy. And just goes to show that if you like reach out and you like make those moves, then you can get that.
Yeah, I think she's incredibly generous, and, you know, she could have said no 100%, you know, but she didn't, and I'm super grateful. So
That's a huge accomplishment in itself. What's your like dream collab? If you get anyone in the world that you could like have on, say, your next album, whenever, who would you love to have?
Oh, I really want to work with Teddy Geiger. She's an awesome producer. She produces like all the Shawn Mendes stuff. So that's kind of my dream. Like, I'd really love to work with her. Jack Antonoff, who does a lot of the Taylor Swift stuff, production wise. And then probably people like, I love Tegan and Sara, Troye Sivan, Halsey. Like, those are probably my top. But Teddy Geiger is like my number one.
There you go. We'll get them all on the next album.
Yeah.
Just send out a few texts.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I have a very important question that I need to ask you. Are you still sporting the Crocs? You still wearing a lot of Crocs?
Oh, yeah. I was at this spa for my birthday, and it was me and my friend, and someone gave us a tip, and they were like, bring your own sandals because, they have some, but they're overpriced or whatever. And my friend was like, oh, I don't have any. And I was like, I got Crocs for both of us. And we're like in the sauna and it's like silent. Like, you got to be quiet in the sauna. And we like would get up to leave the sauna. And it's just like, beep, 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 beep. Like, so awkward. We're like, sorry. So yeah.
Good to know. Staying on brand. How many pairs of Crocs do you think that you own? Is it a lot, or do you just have your select few?
I own definitely four. Yeah.
Well, I expected more. So
yeah. Well.
Yeah.
I mean, it was my birthday. If you want to throw in a belated pair of Crocs, go ahead.
See, so nice catching up with you. Hopefully we can do it in person next time. That would be great. Grab drinks and do all the things. But so good talking to you. Thanks for taking the time.
Great to talk to you. Thanks so much.